Welcome to another gorgeous day on planet Earth. And I have to say, it is finally gorgeous here in New Hampshire. So, hoorah for New Hampshire and another day of Dose of Did You Know, where inspiring, intriguing, unique individuals come to talk about love and life and how it brought them to where they are today. And with me is Miss Susie, all the way on the West Coast, which I love the West Coast. I have so many friends and family on the West Coast. How are you, Susie?
Hi, Danny. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. We finally have some sunshine. We had 2 days of solid rain.
That's not normal for you, right? I mean, that's normal for me, but not you.
Not here. No, but we do appreciate it when we get the rain because we don't get it very often.
I always say, I'm always like, God, you blessed us with sunshine. But I am learning to God, you blessed us with rain. You blessed us with snow. That's my big one that I really have a challenge, him and I, with. But I'm learning to appreciate all the weather aspects. But before we really start digging in about who you are, tell the world a little bit, in a nutshell, who you are.
I'm Susie Schaefer. I'm founder of Finish the Book Publishing, and I've become known as the book angel for Cause Publishing. And I help authors through their writing and publishing journey to empower them and give them all the tools they need to succeed.
Okay, so first we've got to go back because some people don't know what cause marketing, cause publishing, what does that mean? So fill us in.
So cause publishing is also known as social impact publishing, and it's where you can take your book and actually have an impact in the world. And it might be through donating to an organization or charity. It might be about bringing awareness to whether it's domestic violence or saving the rainforest or our veterans. And so it allows people to have a ripple effect and create change in a global way.
All right. So what kind of brought you into that? Because a lot of publishers, marketers, and things, agents, they don't really focus on that. So what made you say oh, I'm going to kind of maximize, do something for this individual, but also create change, throughout?
When I realized that I had the ability to create massive impact, I thought, you know what better way to do it than to use my brand, my business, to help authors do that? Because when I work with one author, say an author sells 500 books, they're now impacting 500 people. They have an ability to support an organization, bring awareness, something like that. But when I work with multiple authors, so for example, say I work with 12 authors, I'm now having the ability to empower authors to impact 6,000 people. So you can see how this is a ripple effect. And so I realized that this was really the mission behind what I do.
I so love that, because we all have something that drives us, that creates our purpose. And when you can kind of mesh it all together, yes, make a living, but then yes, at the same time, be giving back and doing, it's the perfect scenario, because money's not bad. It's the people that play with it and use it that can create the badness. So I'm like, goodness gracious, if you can make a living and create a positive impact and give back to so many of those, nonprofits or all of those things you said, smart cookie.
Well, I feel like, this world is an abundant place, and there is no reason why I can't have an abundant life and be able to share that with others. And through my having an abundant life, it allows me to do good for other people. Yeah. So I think that's really important.
How did you get here? Because we were talking beforehand, and you do a lot of things. So how did you end up being the book angel? The book angel, is that, did I say that right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's right.
And having, finished the book publishing. How did you do that? Because you've had your hand in a bunch of stuff.
Well, I've always been a writer. I actually won a short story contest in high school. I found myself working in corporate America for over 30 years, and I was always writing policy manuals and content, and writing was just kind of an everyday part of my life. And I then had an opportunity to learn the publishing side of the business. And I thought, I love this. It's really so much fun to me. And I love the fact that I can help people and be of service to others. And so as I learned how the publishing world works and decided to create my own brand, which really is kind of like a hybrid publisher, but kind of not. I go a little bit rogue, and I do things that might kind of test the system. But I think that is what really helps authors understand how they can choose to publish the way they want to. So that's really how I got started. And I got called the book angel by one of my clients who said, "You're an angel because we would have never figured this out on our own." So that's kind of how that started. So,
okay. Can you talk about like the difference between a publisher and an agent? Because I was asking you this offline. I know a lot of people that are interested in writing books or have wrote books, and sometimes they have this publisher and editor, and then they get this agent. And how do you know? And I'm always like, well, if you don't really like your publisher, then change it. Don't just stick with what you know because it worked the first time. So I don't know.
Yes. Okay. So
give me some knowledge in those out there about
yes.
what to look for and the differences and things like that.
So there are a lot of different terms, and it can be very confusing. And that's part of the education piece of what I do for authors and for people who are writing who have never become an author. And an agent is really somebody who will do like PR and marketing for you. A publisher is someone who actually will take the book through the process of production. I work a little bit as both. Even though I call myself a publisher, really what I do is I take the author through the writing, editing, cover design, interior layout, all the production and book marketing so that they can work with me from start to finish the book publishing. And they walk away with tools so that they are empowered to do it themselves if they choose to going forward.
That's kind of cool because a lot of times you find someone writes one book and then they have a second one that kind of comes out or part two. I mean, you get the bug.
Yes. Yes. And one of the things that I do that is different is that unlike maybe a traditional publisher or a hybrid publisher, I don't publish under my own imprint. I help the author create an imprint, or maybe they're publishing under their business name. So those authors, all of my authors, keep 100% of the rights and royalties, which again, this is about empowering authors, it's about teaching them, helping them learn and avoid those costly mistakes that you can make sometimes on your first book. And sometimes that's what happens is an author maybe didn't have a great experience on their first book. And so they might come to me and say, okay, what do I need to do differently? Or they might be starting and doing a first book, and have never published before and said, I have no idea where to start. I don't even know how to write it, or I don't know how to get an editor. So that's where I come in because I have all of those people in place to help create the perfect team.
Okay. So funny. So Derek, I know you're watching on Instagram, but hashtag pay attention because we just had this conversation yesterday. And really quick before I ask my next question, Frank, it's Twisted Oak Flags, amazing. Check them out. Jeremy, he rock stars, my background. But when you edit or help them through it, right? So when I write as I speak. And I don't know if that's normal, if people, I guess it's people have their own, what is that called? Their own kind of writing, their own style. That's the word I'm looking for, style of writing. So when I write exactly how I would speak it to somebody. And when you edit or help them through that, how do you not change the style or the voice of the writer? Because you must have your own. So how do you keep that?
Well, and it's great that you do have your own voice. That is what is so impactful for an author, is to have your own voice and have that come through very clearly. So when I work with an author, I find the right editor for them. And when I introduce that author I'll introduce them to two editors and say, okay, I want you to have a conversation with both. But really, It's the person you click with that should be your editor. You will develop this symbiotic relationship with that editor, and they need to be able to kind of get you so that they can bring your voice and create this amazing clarity, so as not to change your voice, but to elevate it and make you shine. And so that's really where the meat and potatoes of your book is the writing and the editing. And so for me, has been years of vetting editors and working directly with them to know who's good, who's worth their salt, who I enjoy working with, who can stay on timelines. And so that's what I do, is I put together that team for the author, but they do get to choose their editor. I'm going to give them a couple options and say, it's the person that you jive with, because that's really, really an important relationship.
Yeah. Brian, yes, she is a cool ass woman. So you guys, are you naturally kind of that connector, that networker, see people for their truth and their value, and then not like judge it, but then fully understand it, and then you can put it in I don't want to say category, but basically put it in that structural category or filing cabinet, mental filing cabinet. Have you always been like that? Because that's how I see you.
Yeah, I have. In fact, I'm one of those people that have literally I've taken the test. My brain is almost equal left and right brain. So I have the creativity and I understand design and how that's going to fit into your business. But I'm able to see the big picture as far as, where is this book going to take you? How are you going to level up? How can you go ahead and get those high ticket clients that you want for your business? How do you want to spread your mission and your message out to the world? So I'm able to organize and have those very detailed thoughts, but also look at it in a big picture kind of way. And I think that's why people call me the book angel, is because I have that innate ability. I'm also highly intuitive. And so I can tap into what's going on with the author and figure out, okay, I see the path for you now. And so let's hop on this train and take this journey, because this is going to be really exciting and fun.
Now, when you're working with like two authors, like they're co-authoring a book, or three of them, how do you work with those personalities with all of the skills that you have?
Exactly. So when you're working with a team of people, and I love working with teams, because obviously I have a book right now that's being done in Canada, and we're working with the entire team of people. So it's fun because you get to bring in the different personalities, and you get to kind of spitball some ideas and say, okay, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? Let's throw out some design ideas and figure out, where do you want to go? What's the feeling that you want to give the reader? It's more than just the words on the page. It's a feeling. You're really kind of creating an image for your brand or your book. And so when you have different personalities, it's actually kind of fun, because it's how you mix it up. And thank goodness for Zoom, because Zoom has become our go-to way for us to actually get in there with a group of people and be collaborative and look at different options. And one of my favorite things to do is actually what I call the sticky note method. And we literally use sticky notes to spitball titles and subtitles for the book. And it's really fun. And when you engage the entire team like that, whether it's co-authors or an entire design team with a company, it can be so much fun that we all walk away from it going, wow, that was a great experience. So yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun work with multiple people.
That's so cool. So we met through a great veteran author, Tommy. So tell me about how you guys met. And I have Tommy's, I can never pronounce it, Haboob
Wind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have his book of that. I have it Audible and reading, because I like to listen, because when I read, sometimes I fall asleep. So I've got to do the reread through the words on Audible. But how did you guys meet and connect? Because he doesn't just recommend people or work with people because, hey, you look good on paper or whatever. You have to have some substance. That's why I'm loving talking to you. So.
Well, I have to say, I work with a lot of different other types of publishing companies. And so I have a lot of what I call power partners, whether it's a hybrid publisher or somebody who does design and cover design, interior design, that type of thing. And so what happens is people will refer clients to me. And so Tommy was referred to me for Hoop Wind to help him with his book marketing, because that was something that the company didn't do. And I said, absolutely. I love working with veterans. So you're some of my favorite people in the world. So I said, I would love to work on this book with Tommy. And so we did his Amazon bestseller campaign. He made it to #1 in several categories. And then as he was working on the writing for his second book, which is 2 Million Steps, I said, let's take a look at it. And we found that we needed to work with an editor. We needed to do some more things. And so really I took on a greater role with his second book. But the amazing thing is that actually led us to, I'm sure you know this, but Tommy also is an actor. I'm a former commercial actor as well. And I didn't know that he was writing screenplays. And I said, hey, I'd love to take a look at that. And so Tommy and I have actually started writing screenplays together, and we've developed Movie Muse Productions, and we just walked away with 2 Best Script Awards for 2020 for a script that we worked on, which was an adaptation of another book.
How long did that take?
So Tommy had actually written like the bare bones for the, more than the bare bones of the script. And so when I came in to look at it, I said, okay, I see where we can do some character development. Let's work on some of the dialogue. Let's look at timelines and make sure that we have really good continuity. And so we went back and added it. I think we probably spent about maybe 80 hours on it, and came out of it with a script that was so much more developed than, and that's really what it takes is, again, working with the team. And Movie Muse is kind of how the name came up, is he could say, like, you're kind of like a muse. And I said, oh, I love this. So that's how we came up with the company name for that. And so yeah, and then Tommy takes the screenplay and then he starts pitching it. And so that allows me to come back and work on the publishing side of my business. And he's pitching screenplays and writing his book. And so we have a great partnership, and I really feel blessed to have met him and be able to work with him.
So tell me about the new company, because now I'm curious.
Yes, it's actually, we're still in the process of formulating it. My website's being revised to add Movie Muse Productions to it. So people can still reach me through Finish the Book Publishing for either one. But yeah, we decided, let's work on this first screenplay, and we've gotten such, and it was kind of one of those things where we thought we weren't really sure if we're going to develop a whole nother company or not. Right. And then the screenplay won 2 awards, and I said, obviously we need to do this. So.
You're onto something here. You guys have a good connection. Roll with it. So you're an angel and a muse. I mean, come on. Could you be called to any better things?
It's really my left and right brain is how it works.
I did not. What test did you? Now I want to know. What test did you take to get that?
I don't remember what it was called. It was just some little, online type of test to see, where you could test your brain. And, it takes you through a series of questions, this or that, multiple choice. And it came out saying that I was like 51-49 as far as my left and right brain. And I was like, that's not surprising, because I think that's kind of what it takes to do the kind of work I do.
I am going to Google that, and I'll get back to you at what my brain is. It will not be equal. I can tell you that. I think
it'll be either analytical or creative. So yeah.
Definitely on the creative side. I'm always pulling in people on the analytical side. My brother's way analytical. I'm way creative. So when we ran a company for 24 years, it was great. As long as you stay in the lane that you're supposed to be in, it was awesome, because then we have what you have as one person. It took just
exactly right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, like I said, I'm fascinated in this world only because, like, I did the self-publishing. I wrote a book. I did the self-publishing, and it's hard. You don't know, and then you write it, and it's out there, and then what? Then that's a whole other ball of worms that I don't even know. That might be harder than getting it, because it seems pretty easy to get a book. Not like that. it's your best work when it's just you, because anytime it's just your brain doing something, I feel like you're missing out on so many other, edits and aspects to it. But then how do you get people to see it? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everybody's different. Like every author's different. So some people really struggle with the writing piece. And so I work with another partner who can help people through the writing process by vocal journaling, really is what it is. And then when you come away from that, you have the first draft for your book. There's some people that struggle with the end of it, which is, really launching and marketing your book. And so it really depends on where people's strengths are and where they have challenges. And so that's where I come in and say, okay, well, let's work through all of these, because you can't just do your book and then not market it. You have to do the second half of that. So, yeah.
It's kind of funny. Well, I don't think funny is the proper word at all for this. Sometimes I forget I wrote a book. Like, that's how bad I am on it. I'm like, oh yeah. My friend Travis, who has Oscar Mike Radio, we do a lot of emceeing of veteran events together. We'll interview the performers, we'll MC it, we'll do this whole thing. He has a step and repeat. He's like, Danielle, you need to get a step and repeat. And I'm like, I don't even know what to put on it. He's like, oh,
your book? What's your book cover?
I'm like, oh, genius, Travis. So
yes, I've actually helped people design their banners or their step and repeats. I love those roll-up banners because you can take them to book launch parties. Not like that we're having any social events right now, but it's also a great way when even just you're doing on video for you to have that behind you to showcase your book cover. So it's a lot of fun, and it really does help too, because people are like, oh, I didn't realize you wrote a book. So and you never know. I'm just looking over here I'm grabbing this real quick here. People, when they see a book cover, if I can get that in there, if people can see a book cover, it makes it real. It's kind of a live thing. So they go, oh wow,
it's like tangible. It's
exactly.
Like tangible, even though it's visual. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize how much, especially if you write a book that goes hand in hand with your business, how much that can elevate your business. Because by writing a book and publishing it, not only are you seen as the expert in your field, but now you have the ability to reach millions of people because of this little thing called Amazon, the biggest bookseller in the world. And so you now are in front of a massive platform, and you have the ability to grow that exponentially. So writing a book, again, it's one of those ways just to get out there and, share your mission, share your message, elevate your business, get those high-end clients that you want. And it can all be done through really leveraging a book.
Yeah, because you write it like, I wrote my book for a purpose. There was a mission behind it around what I do for a living. So it's funny how it's like, oh, check that off the box. And then someone like me, who I don't think I'm the only one out there. I think there are a lot of people that kind of go through that. And then it's like this afterthought. You did it, but you're not leveraging it. You're not, and it's the value. There was value in that on relationships and how to have better relationships. It wasn't just my nonsense talking.
And now, Danny, I'm going to go check out your book because I want to see what your book's all about. So now you intrigued me to go take the next step and check it out.
Oh my gosh. Susie, this has been great. And you're coming back on with Tommy. So everybody, she's going to be back on, I think it's January 19th. And if I got that right, I am going to give myself 5 gold stars because I have the worst memory of numbers and dates. But I'm pretty sure it's January 19th. You and Tommy are going to be back on talking about the new book, and who knows what else we're going to dig into. So I'm super excited about that. But before I let you go, because we're closing up here, I asked you to answer this last question with the first thing that pops into your brain. Don't overthink it. It's just the first thing that comes to your mind is right now in this moment, Susie, what does love mean to you?
Love means just embracing the world and spreading good cheer and happiness and friendship and just good vibes. We're going into a new year. I think everybody's ready to put 2020 in the rearview mirror and just send everybody as many good vibes and positive feelings as possible.
That makes perfect sense because I totally get that from your energy. So
Thank you.
That was not a crazy off explanation of what love means to you in this moment. So Susie, thank you again for sharing your knowledge and your truth and who you are and why you do this, because it is so important what you're doing to, again, so people can reach more than just what is right in front of them for the cause, because the majority of us have that passion and want to impact people in whatever way it is, you know.
Absolutely.
A little minute amount is enough. That's all that has to do, a little sparkle of it. So
it's a great big world out there. So go out there and grab it.
No, thank you. And to everybody out there that is watching, remember, as always, love hard, love pure, and love proactive. Until next time, we will see you. Bye-bye.